And we're back in with the Philadelphia ESCA Cash Cup with map number 1 going in a surprising fashion to the BOOZOOMERS. But before we get back into it, I gotta give a quick shout out to our sponsor over at Mavix Gaming Chairs, who, well, if you're not happy with your chair, Mavix Gaming has the perfect chair for you with the best back support in the business. You can experience all the Mavix Gaming chairs at all nursery and local host facilities, as well as in your own home, using the Future 9 functions of critical ergonomics to support gamers everywhere. You can get yours today for as little as $24.69 a month. You can also use code NSG55 on purchase to go ahead and save yourself $55. You can go and shop at mavix.com/nerdstreetgamers. That is mavix.com/nerdstreetgamers. Keeping us comfortable here on the broadcast, and well, honestly, a surprisingly comfortable victory for the BOOZOOMERS, who came out swinging with an insane double up setup between the two boomers of Flom and Cooper. What a surprising setup, Bog.
I mean, we expected that double op setup, but the end result, I think, was the surprising factor. It was a rather dominant win, despite it being a 16-11. For the most part, the rounds that BOOZOOMERS were able to win were very strong and very heavily in their favor. The rounds that Gas Money were able to scrape away did come down to clutches in a lot of scenarios. So, for BOOZOOMERS, this is kind of the result you wanted to get, getting out of the board and getting onto your map pick early. But more so than that, it proves that your utility was more than adequate to handle whatever Gas Money could throw at you. Their T side got 8 rounds on Inferno. That is a win condition in and of itself. You should not lose the map getting 8 rounds on T side Inferno.
Yeah, I think there were some definite things that went wrong for the Gas Money alongside that, considering, honestly, I don't know what it is about these Flom teams, but they just look so coordinated. And as a unit, I think Hate was kind of left to go about his own devices. He was going for the swings. He was going for the lurks whenever he saw fit. But Mista was doing some great role playing. He didn't have the greatest of games, but he was there. He got his information. He did what he needed to do for the team. The role players were there. Freakazoid was doing his job, but I think the double op setup between Cooper and Flom were in the right position every single step of the way. Cooper was able to find impact in lots of rounds, and that's sometimes very difficult for oppers to have. He was always at the scene of every single crime, and he was able to, well, do some crimes of his own at certain points. So Cooper, some big respect goes out to him. He delivered in a great way. But now we take it over to Overpass, which is a bit of an opera stream. You can run a good double up setup there as well. I feel like we were saying this a little bit earlier in the pregame, but this also kind of plays into the hands potentially of the BOOZOOMERS.
Yeah, I mean, Flom and Cooper double op setup, that's a scary proposition. Don't care who you are. That's a scary proposition to run up against. And when we see how well Cooper was opping, how well Flom was opping, and some of the coordination between them two, particularly that A-hole, one in pit, one towards Arch Lane, Moto area, keeping an eye on apartments for you, there was some really good double peaks, some really good play between those two as well, which just goes to show the veteran presence of these two, being able to slot in with anybody, but also the fact that you can opt very well on T-side Overpass means that I'm going to be expecting that Cooper Jr. optal to come through quite a bit on both sides of the coin. And it's going to really come down to whether or not Junior can pick things up, because he wasn't the best in that Inferno game. And it did kind of hold Gas Money back in some pretty critical scenarios, especially early.
Yeah, I mean, Junior had some particular moments in the game, right? He had a cool 4K, but in the important rounds where he only needed like 1 or 2 kills to really turn the tide back in the favor of Gas Money. Yeah, we saw a couple of extra momentary rounds where he would be boosted up on Banana, missed a critical shot there, missed another. There's a, we can go, I hate to point fingers and all that, but early on in the game, it could have been a much different story if Junior started off the game hot. He warmed up into it, but the issue really stemmed from the T side was actually just flat. We talked about the double op setup already from Cooper and Flom, and I think Junior wasn't really there to actually deal with that issue. More or less, the rifles were just getting shredded on every site execute, it seemed, every single time. I swear, Cooper was everywhere at once. And if he can keep up that sort of, it's just intelligent play alongside the great firepower that he provides, Overpass is, once again, a scary map.
Yeah. I think a lot of that does come down to the communication that BOOZOOMERS have. They're very good at communicating. I think that when you have so many veteran players, and you also have Mistim, who's also not GL. Part of that is knowing how to communicate and communicate well. So you have 4 players just right there off the top of my head. I don't know how Hate is in terms of in-game and communication, but you have 4 players right there that have incredible comms. And comms are arguably the most important part of team-based Counter-Strike, and you can really see it. Great coordination in the flashbangs too, especially on that T side. And BOOZOOMERS will start on the CT side of things, so maybe we'll get to see that double op setup here pretty early as we get into map number 2 of Overpass. BOOZOOMERS up 1 map to 0. Another map victory here will send them on into the semifinals and drop Gas Money out of contention for the money here, the Frag ESEA Cash Cup. Do you like the aggression from Cooper out long and in towards playground area, and a very slow-paced round so far from Gas Money, just trying to bait out any information. They've got that information. Cooper, too overzealous for his own good.
There are 4 players waiting for him there, but there's also 2 still in con. In particular, Mistim, one of them, alongside Flom, but B-Wills is going to deal with him instantly. He's going to keep running it down. Flom with a nice response, but there's more players on the way. A second headshot though from Flom comes through, has to reload, getting pincered in. Can Flom go for any more? He cannot. Flying Peter will take him down. So boomer on boomer action goes one way. Peter able to bring some resurgence into this one, and now it's going to be up to old Zoomer Hate, tapping away with the USB. He does have the kit here, but probably going to want to fall back at the same time, taking more flak on the way out. That plant will go in. Gas Money. Post plant established. And BOOZOOMERS retaking both from the CT side of things. It's segmented here. Freakazoid immediately falls, and now the crossfire just assembled. Easily done there in that 2v2. Gas Money will walk away with the pistol round.
Honestly, if you let the T-Site get the bomb down, it's not even worth winning the pistol round anyways if you're CT side, because you're just going to get forced on with AKs and Galils anyways in the next round. Of course, BOOZOOMERS will be the ones forcing, but it's almost a little more fun to be on the offensive side of things. Even if you are technically CT side, you can be a little more offensive and aggressive when you have a lesser buy. And it can be a little more effective, especially in these early rounds, to catch people off guard. Even if they are expecting it, it's still a very hard play to counter when you have the skill that these players in the server do possess. So for Bad News Bears, they're expecting that force buy. They'll go for 3 Galils, an AK, and a MAC-10. Buy would be rather similar even if they did lose the round, just based off of getting the bomb down in the end. So if BOOZOOMERS can win this round and reset Bad News Bears and start the swing early on back into their favor, it would be a fantastic start. Even then, I think they still need 7 rounds on their CT side as a whole to really get anything going to have a chance to win this map.
See what's on offer for these deals. Currently only a 2-player setup towards Monster. And on this B side, could result in things going awry as Gas Money do begin to creep forward. For the moment, all that's done is actually allow an extra rotation back in towards B. I do see Freakazoid has made his way over, so reinforced now. But still, it's only Deagles on the other side of this, but crossfires could be deadly. Let's see what they got. Mistim blinds. Gets ran over by the MAC-10 Swisher. Hate recovers from the flash, but not in time. And the rest of this, it just leaves mostly to Freak. He does get a nice double at the end, but that's simply not enough. It's Flom 1v3. And this is looking to be the conversion for Gas Money. This could be the quick 3-0 start.
This is the start that Gas Money Bears, Bad News Money, whatever you want to call them, they want this round. They need these 3-0 start. They need to get on the board very early. They need to get that confidence built up after dropping Inferno. They want to take this one the distance to a third. It's something they definitely are very capable of doing. They picked this map for a reason. With Mirage waiting in the wings, that just leaves everything open to a coin flip almost in that final map. So for Gas Money, they need this one on the board. They will get that second at the very least. Flom will save the scout and the armor though, deal some more damage into the next round, and maybe even catch somebody off guard. Perhaps we'll see pistol upgrade for Freak and missed him. But in the end, I think it should be a pretty easy round for gas money. That scout's just to try and keep that T economy from growing too wild in the early going.
Yeah, if they can get some extra kills just to layer on top of it, it'll make that first gun run all the more impactful. A couple extra nades bought up, in fact, for the BOOZOOMERS. We do see nade flash for Freakazoid. Maybe a good nade stack could find its way in towards this monster rush that's just making their way down. Stream, missed him. Actually finds a headshot, wild shot, and finds one that connects. But, well, so those MAC-10 bullets. Easy money for gas money. Just leaving Flom. If he can get an extra kill on the exit, then I'll call that a win. In fact, there are players hunting for him at the moment, but he'll get run over by Junior. 4 kills for the offer of gas money will definitely pay dividends down the line. It's currently 3-0.
Good 3-0 start there. Missed him. Very good control on the deagle spray. Like, that was... I'm surprised he got a kill there. You know, it's actually relatively accurate if you shoot to the beat of Toto's Africa.
I remember seeing that. Like, I was actually in aimbots yesterday trying to get to the beat of Toto's Africa.
Yeah, it actually works.
It actually works. Well, I won't say he did. A little out of tempo there, but he still landed the shot nevertheless. Let's see what Peter has. He has an AK-47. That has quite the tempo to it. Oh, Switcher. The op fires off. Flom peeks off the contact, and early on, the crossfires benefit BOOZOOMERS. The individualistic style of gas money not paying off in this one.
Yeah, gas money going a little too solo, a little too lone wolf. They should be more like the A team and less like John McClane, perhaps, in this situation, since there are more of them than just one. Grouping up, using utility is what the BOOZOOMERS do best and what has gotten them a map on the board in this series. So definitely you might say it's something that could be tried to be emulated by gas money, perhaps, and Flom goes solo. He gets caught out by B-Wills, and there, as we say at Phi, perhaps playing with your teammates is better after all.
Yeah, gas money learned this lesson at the start of the round, and then Flom's gonna learn that lesson towards the middle of it. But I think, looking at the positioning of gas money, this could easily just turn straight up into a save. They need to start making their move as soon as possible, and that is what they will do. 2 players coming up towards long. Mistum's going to be on the receiving end of a lot of this. Gooper also has an op-out towards Truck. This is a deadly combo. Mistum swings out. Insta-kill there onto B-Wills. Shot not connecting from Junior. Nice tag, at least, but this is going to be a save at the end of the day, unless he actually wants to make this one too, but Cooper can just tuck away towards the truck. Junior, no way, he actually gets the plant in, but nothing more than that. Still way more than he was worth, but at the end of all of it, it's BOOZOOMERS with the round victory.
That plant's actually really good for the economy over on gas money. That's really good work just to even get that bomb down. Everyone's sitting around 7k aside from Peter, who's at 3k. Junior can easily compensate with his 10,000 in the bank. But it's really something that can keep them going into for at least one more round, which I think is what they want. If they lose this round, they can still salvage something into the next if they get a bomb down. Op duel now out, though. Junior has one of his own. No double ops for BOOZOOMERS. They lost too many players to really be able to afford that kind of heavy investment. Cooper, though, taking his talents out towards top con. Freakazoid, though, met by the op of Junior. And the op strikes first in the hands of gas money in this round. Rotation through con now, where Flom is waiting. He's getting some information. He'll hear the drop, sure. No, it's silent, but it's not expected. Cooper's picked up B-Wills in the meantime, too. 2 rounds now looking likely as the advantage sits with BOOZOOMERS. But Junior still lives, and we've seen what this guy can do in a clutch.
He's going to need to get himself in the proper positioning, though, and he'll group up with his teammates towards Monster. Spongy, on the other hand, is going to be in charge of throwing the vast majority of utility, but Flom predicts that and swings the door, takes down Spongy, and now a 2v4 ensues. Junior, though, is still standing, is active at the moment. He's going to have to be the most active now. He's the last player standing. A player in pit as well. That is Mistum. Ready to swing off the contact of his teammates. Isn't even needed, rather, as Cooper just snipes him down. Now that's the quick 2 gun rounds in a row from BOOZOOMERS, and out of fuel, running out of fuel quickly. Our gas money, the force buy could be a consideration, but it would be a risky one.
Would be incredibly risky to go for a full, but they're going to go for gas money. Op, AK, Galil, MAC-10, Tech-9. A smorgasbord of weaponry. And a good amount of utility as well. Double ops for BOOZOOMERS. That's going to be something that's going to be hard to deal with. Something that gas money had a lot of trouble with on Inferno. This is the chance for the BOOZOOMERS to really grow their lead and go on a run. This is their opportunity to establish a stranglehold here on Overpass. I think they would like at the very least 9 rounds. I think they're looking for 10, though, out of this half on the side of BOOZOOMERS to give themselves an easier road of things once they get onto the T side, which is going to be a little more difficult, knowing how good of an Opera Junior is on this map. So for BOOZOOMERS, you've given yourselves the opportunity to start growing, but they have to seize it.
Opportunity is there. Currently, the force buy-in from gas money, and if this goes awry, then BOOZOOMERS will actually find themselves lead with almost doubtless. I can't speak in absolutes here, but doubtless they should find a lead. But for now, they have to take this round first and foremost, and take it cleanly. That's I honestly think it's the most important thing right now. The economy for the CT side is yet to stabilize. It'll be important to see how resilient this defense will be as they move in through Monster. Missed him up close towards the Monster side. Excellent flick around. Tate the support as well. The spray doesn't actually finish off both of them. Spongy gets a double. Plum, he's under threat and actually gets taken down. It's all of a sudden Cooper in a 1v2. First flick found, though, and that makes it just that much easier. 1v1 between him and Junior, but Junior just pulls out the Glock and finishes the job. You gotta win versus the force buys to get the rewards. And right now, gas money will defend their economy. They'll hold on.
They will hold on. That's a massive win for gas money. It puts them back in the driver's seat here. Almost like what BOOZOOMERS did on the first half of Inferno. We're seeing a bit of a repeat here. And perhaps it's a reason why these teams pick the maps they do. That might be something to be said. But BOOZOOMERS are not going to go for a very risky play. They're going to go for a pretty much safe round, half buy across a couple of their players. Freak gets taken down. Spongy's popping off now here on Overpass. That's a bad sign for anybody going up against gas monies when Spongy starts to feel his form. He's a very hard one to stop. Now they're going to explode down towards that B site. Should be an easy take here. Going to fit on the board for gas money.
It should just be churned through. That's a nice down by Cooper, but that's all they'll get. And it just leaves Flom probably just hold on to the armor at the end of all this. You could get out a good rifle, maybe get some extra utility behind that. So, gas money, who were on the brink of financial ruin and what could have been just an instantaneous lead for Flom and company, is actually now swung quite in the opposite direction, and now it's going to be 5-2. Another gun round is on the horizon, and Cooper will have enough to buy an AWP. So there's at least that going into the next. But for now, Bad News Bears are looking like the team to beat at the moment on Overpass. I think it's just the financial struggles at this rate, so the gun round is what we look out for.
Gun round is where it'll all be decided. The pistols cannot bring up any heroics for BOOZOOMERS, and gas money do not relinquish much ground at all. Instead, they decide to grow their territory. Double ops are back in effect for BOOZOOMERS, and they will need to find some serious success. No kits for the CT side, and Flom is on a glass cannon. Things are getting risky here for BOOZOOMERS. They're starting to go for the gamble play now, which I think is the right time. Stop this run from gas money. You need to get on the board early, and Junior falls first to Flom. That is the start that the BOOZOOMERS needed. One zoom banger onto another. It's the boomer over the zoomer.
Hops in towards the pit as well. Good setup here on the site for the BOOZOOMERS. Can't really press forward if you're Swisher. He's looking for some sort of isolated fight, but instead he receives a dink from Mistum. It's going to send him the other way. At least him, not the rest of his teammates, so they're trying to group up for the play as a whole. Peter has recovered that AWP dropped by Junior. In the meantime, Swisher receive a boost, and it's gonna find the kill on the hate play towards the barrels. Just feeling a little too comfortable there. Peter tries to go for the peak as well, but Cooper's on the other end of the line. Gives him a warm welcome. Excellently done there from Mistim as the smoke fades. B-Will does not know what hit him. A 2v4 to follow, and they're going to try the same trick twice, but I don't think it's going to pan out in the same way.
Not with that, especially. Little noise making done. Yeah, they're just going to run. Third round on the board for the BOOZOOMERS. Gas money will save the op, and they will save the AK on Spongy, presumably here. Nobody hunting for BOOZOOMERS. Definitely no money in the bank to even try and fathom an attempt. But as we sit here now, it's still the advantage for gas money. They are not in a bad spot whatsoever. If anything, they're in a very good spot, Fi. And this is a very good, clean opportunity for gas money to run away with this half still. Yeah, you've given BOOZOOMERS that opportunity that round on the board, but you can still swipe back and take it away. And the thing is, too, remember how the economy used to work? Tactical resets kind of were a thing. It was almost like a meme, but not a meme at the same time. This is that tactical reset situation.
In that certain way, both teams are on a complete knife's edge at the moment. Whoever takes this, gonna have themselves a spree of rounds, and BOOZOOMERS want to be on the better end of it. And they want to keep really their head above water on this map of overpass. I feel like their CT side is where they need to shine. With the double op setups in play. Zoid making his way back up from connector. He could hear a couple of these footsteps of these players in Fountain. Needs to be all eyes and ears ready for the play. Junior, ooh, an opportunity squandered. But at the same time, gas money are slowly creeping up towards long. Doesn't matter because he got Flom's op on the other end. Double op setup is just ever present right now.
Whether you go to Flom or you go to Cooper, chances are it's going to end with something going up on the kill feed, and it's not going to be your kill. Those two are definitely having themselves a field day. There's another one for Flom in this round. Out towards Divider. There's a good position from Freakazoid, too.
Wow.
Hard to clear. Hey, there's Cooper. The kill feed is all blue. Nothing's going the way of gas money. They are getting rocked. It's all ops. It's all ops. This could be all ops this entire round.
I don't think it is.
No.
I think Freak. Ooh, wait a second. Is Freak gonna check this? Oh, he shoots. Oh, Junior gave him a little scare there. Freak clearing out. All right, it's not gonna be all off at the end of the day. He'll get the job done. But BOOZOOMERS with the Zoomers, Boomers on Zoomer. There's a lot of terrible puns to be made here. But at the end of the day, it's the double op setup that is just churning through gas money, especially in that round. And they'll have an opportunity to just turn through him right here. Talked about at the start of that round how the money was broken for both sides if they lose, and, well, what do you know? Gas money are on absolutely zero in Counter-Strike terms.
Oh, yeah. There is nothing for them to really work with. The P250s and the Deagle maybe find a kill or two if they're lucky, but it's not a good look here for gas money. Things are definitely going what you might say the opposite of good for them right now, as they did have a bit of an advantage in the early going, but that has quickly evaporated away and been replaced by BOOZOOMERS momentum trying to come forth. The double op setup found 4 or 5 kills in the last round. Cooper and Freakazoid playing a nice tandem play out towards washrooms, but they're going to go up lane side of gas money, and they are going to avoid the op for the most part. We'll get the shot baited out onto Cooper, who still goes back and tries for more. Flom in the meantime, though, trying to hold his own sight. The pistols can overwhelm an opper quite easily. Freakazoid's going to have a lot of work to do. Gets the first, sprays down the next. The ops fail to find anything. Hidden comes off flank, but Freakazoid gets the bomb planter. Flicks around Freakazoid. 4K. That's some vintage Freak right there. And it's going to be another round on the board for the BOOZOOMERS. They only lose one. They will save both ops. AK's getting shuffled around. They will only be able to save one. Mistim will stay on the M4A1. Op will go back to Cooper. AK into the hands of Freak. Hate and Mistim will hold on to the M4s. But what a play on the anti-eco mop up there from Freak.
That could have gotten out of hand there a little bit. I mean, in in terms of long term, that play will definitely come back and really help BOOZOOMERS down the stretch. The money has begun to build up very nicely for a CT side, and you don't see that every day. BOOZOOMERS can sit pretty for just a little bit, but maybe they want to hold this one down. Missed them about receiving a boatload of players. A very nice double kill, and Hate follows up. The trade fraggers aren't really in sight, as Hate is going to dash them all away. Swept aside our gas money on this monster take, and Hate with the 3-peat. That is the best performance I've seen from him today, and if he's like that, BOOZOOMERS could be the ones knocking on the door of a 2-0. That's some excellent form just shown there by the B-side hold.
That is exactly what you wanted to see for the BOOZOOMERS, having the younger guys step up to the plate and knock it out of the park. Another pistol round here for gas money. Tech 9s, Deagles, a little bit of armor and utility, but it's still not exactly what you would call a confident buy here for the gas money side. The double ops now leading into the good rifle play. The stonewall defense of BOOZOOMERS is finding their confidence here on Overpass. And I feel like this BOOZOOMERS team might take a little bit to get going at the beginning of games, but once they do get moving, they are that boulder rolling down a hill. And it does come down to whether or not you have the sheer willpower to get past this squad, because how many times do you just run into an op when you're facing against this squad right now that we've seen? Almost every time, and if you don't, well, you either run into Freakazoid or you run into some great utility and rifle combinations. It seems like there's a no-win situation right now for gas money, and they're playing a much different style of game now. We're starting to see their style shift to a more afraid and scared play. So it's not exactly a inspiring turn of events for gas money.
I feel like some of their calls have been a little bit panicked as well, more or less jumping the gun on a couple of situations where you can wait for your teammates and just become more or less put together. That was a nice shot from Junior, and oh, Freak gets overrun. Tech 9 at close range does the damage it needs to, and it is gas money, the man advantage, and a very nice post play set up in front of them. Hate and company to try and disassemble this. They got players on all angles, and look at this from Junior. He cuts off all of Bank. One shot is all he requires. Jump spot. If Junior hit that flick, I would have lost my mind. But for now, they have to keep pushing forward. They have to try and root out these players, and that they cannot. Miss them. Only with the trade. That's all he can afford. Miss them needs more. He cannot. It's a 1v3 for Flom, and he's basically due to save. And that's going to be the round. A half-buy comes out from gas money.
It's the pistols for gas money. They play it well. They explode onto the site together, and maybe taking a page out of the gas money or the BOOZOOMERS book. Excuse me, there, working out well for them. So, gas money. They keep it at 6 apiece. This is where this half will really get established. I think this is where one team can really break away from the other and set themselves up nicely for half number 2. Because as it stands, we are knotted at an even scoreline. An 8-7 would not be terribly surprising at this point, although the double op is still in effect for BOOZOOMERS. If they do lose this round, they will have enough to buy, but they'll only have a single op, which they'll presumably throw into Cooper. I do like this aggression from Freakazoid out mountain, though. That's so much information. Look at the rotation down towards B. You can see Hate's made his way down on towards the B side proper. At this point, Cooper is still holding around with the op as Freakazoid is clearing playground. They'll keep an eye on Connector because it's such a key point of the map of Overpass. But this is a pretty telegraphed B hit now that all this information's in the hands of BOOZOOMERS. And Cooper's just going to book it down towards the A side and probably go to heaven and help out this hole.
Right now, Bad News Bears being a bit more patient than we previously saw. We've seen a B rush come out from them before. They're going to take a more slower approach, but eventually panic could set in that, is there a flank coming through? Do they have all the information? Are they stacking? And that might draw them towards other locations of the map. For now, though, Hate gets that initial kill, and maybe that's going to queue up the execute. Hate blinded up. Could he go for a second? No, it'll be Flom instead. Dodging all the utility, doing all the damage. Second kill found. Hate from Monster gets his double kill, and that's all they need. BOOZOOMERS with yet another stonewall B-side hold. Somehow Junior's able to get out of dodge.
Nice.
He's hoping to save, and that's not even going to happen. Freakazoid came in from the flank. 7-6. BOOZOOMERS with a lead, and they are dominating right now.
I wanted the knife there. I really wanted the knife there. But he did the right thing. He did the correct thing in terms of Counter-Strike speak. He got the kill instead of going for the style points. That's respectable there. I respect it. Would have loved to see the knife kill, but wait, fine. Look at the buy on gas money and tell me I'm seeing double.
You are seeing double, but you're not hallucinating either. That is a double op setup on a T side of overpass. Peter has had enough, and he just wants to start winning rounds outright. And maybe the Mac 10s could be doing the trick as well. As Freakazoid, he's gonna get glocked down. How does that exchange even go down? I don't understand. One Abadir goes down though, but there's always another. Still though.
Oh, that's late on the timing, unfortunate.
Doesn't really spot those players going towards B, but it's still information nevertheless. He didn't see anyone towards Fountain. That's still going to queue up the rotation back towards the B site. They do have Spongy up close already at this wood wall, ready to pop at a moment's notice. That smoke fools nobody. Spongy pushes out, excellent, onto Hate. Keeps going forward, but Flom is here on the other end. Junior will open up on a Mistim too. Flom is going to need to do some extra work, some heavy lifting as well. Ooh, Cooper. There is a chance he goes down. He actually finds B-Wills. A 2v2 is what they're working with here. And Flom with the 250 out wants to get up close and dirty with it. It is only op remaining in the server. This is just basically NA's op talent right in front of you at the moment. And Cooper's going to open up one talent, takes another, and now it must be Peter. Vintage moment has to be delivered. He gets one. Needs the 1v1. It's Flom with the pistol out, and Peter's gonna get the job done. 30 Peak Pete has arrived to the server in round number 14 and has brought the game to equals.
What a play from Pete. Doubles his kill counts in that round as well. Just pops off with the op, taking those 1v1 duels cleanly. And that was vintage Dirty Peak Pete right there. T-side op and on overpass, up close and personal for Pete. It does not matter. He gets it done. Utility going to go for a fast 8 take as we hit to round number 15. Double opposite for both sides. Not an effect is it's only going to be BOOZOOMERS who have that cash despite winning the round of the previous. Gas money will open things up though. Freakazoid will get that death notice as Spongy sprays him down. Flom very aggressive outside bathrooms. Caught by Junior. Here comes Gas Money's turn to try and grab a lead again. It's been a long while since they did have one. Looking for that 8th round on the T side of overpass. Swisher pops Hate from behind. Missed him and Cooper. Missed him in the back lines.
Yeah.
Not expected, but how much can he do now on a 1v5? There's nothing he can do. 1 kill, maybe 2. That is it.
I mean, if he finds the bomb, maybe he'll take this double kill while he can, but a 1v5, surely not. He knows what these remaining players are, though. They know he's coming out towards long. They might actually guess that he's going towards bathrooms. Oh, missed him. Came close. If that was a double spray down, that could have been a 1v5 effort realized, but at the end of the day, it is BOOZOOMERS who falter just a tad bit, but they're still rocking a good score line at a minimum. So, but the good resurgence again from Gas Money in the second half of the first half. So, yeah. In the second quarter there, getting a nice spree of rounds, shutting down the double op setup. A nice clutch comes in from Peter as well. Overall, I mean, they still are coming into the second half on a roll.
Yeah, it's that clutch from Peter that really enables Gas Money to even have a chance at winning that half. Without that, things go from bad to worse. It's going to be that 8th on the board for the side of BOOZOOMERS. Pete really does stand tall and save his squad there with that op 1v2. So, hats off to Pete there. And then that last round is just Gas Money rolling. They just steamrolled everybody. Now they go to the defensive end of overpass. CT side is definitely the favored one. So we'll see if BOOZOOMERS have what it takes to counter this. They would need 8 rounds to grab it overtime at the very least. 9 to win this map. 9 rounds on T side overpass is no easy day.
Yeah, and I think the CT side is where they really thrive. I think it's going to come down to a lot to Freakazoid and what he can do, especially coming on a more aggressive plays where he's more or less left solo to do what he can, and more or less BOOZOOMERS will be tossing the utility for him to try and get up close, get in the face of the opposing CT side. So it's going to come down to lots of Freakazoid's form and what space he can create on that T side, alongside Hate, who did wake up a little bit towards parts of that half. He did have some nice holds for himself, but I think overall, Hate is the one player in the server who isn't really on the same caliber as all the other players in it with him. So if he can step up and also have a good T side as well, he's playing more of a secondary lurk role alongside Freakazoid, then he can have his... If he can have his day in the sun, then BOOZOOMERS could find themselves on the way to a 2-0. But that's a lot of if, ands, or buts. So
Yeah.
we'll see what actually comes up as the trump card for BOOZOOMERS, if any. Because I think right now what I'm really terrified about is we just saw a lights-out moment from Peter, and Junior's been looking fine as ever. So still a very scary prospect.
So what you're saying is BOOZOOMERS should be afraid.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to boil it all down to, is BOOZOOMERS should be afraid. Gas money. They're starting to cook with some gas here.
Yeah, I think once the double op setup comes out, just as we saw from BOOZOOMERS, this series is actually just the double op setups facing off versus one another in this one. Once on these CT sides, once gas money get it rolling, then it becomes terrifying. And that's even discounting whether Spongy starts having some rock solid holes or Swisher just tears the team apart. Like, there are still plenty of factors that are in play for gas money that could easily get them this map victory.
There's plenty of factors in play for both sides that could get them a map victory, but the thing is, which one will realize it? There's a lot of ifs, there's a lot of variables here. There's a lot of answers we cannot get until we see how the players react. Second half is coming forth now, and we will start to see just exactly how these players do end up reacting, how they do live up to the pressure. This pistol round is going to tell us a lot, I think, about how this game will go, how this map will go, and of course, how that affects this series. Map victory here for BOOZOOMERS puts him to the semifinals. Gas money need to take it to a third. Junior with the opportunity out towards long, dropped by Flam, and that is the antithesis of the start that gas money wanted. But the reaction is swift. They're back towards the A site to defend, and BOOZOOMERS are zooming into this position. This could end poorly.
Storming up long, thundering right now. Just a stampede of T's up long, already pressuring in towards Bank even as well. Missed him. Tapping away. The bomb is even swinging in towards Bank. Now this becomes a risky prospect as Beebos has arrived and all the players go down. They forego the bomb plant, and that will cost them very much this round. There is a flank coming in from Hate, though. He's already down underneath, but he can't get the insta-frag. They now know the alarms are ringing. Still has a player looking the wrong way, and Cooper delivers with the P250. It comes down to the 1v1 between Hate and Peter. Peter is armorless, tapping away, though. Hate is taking gooshes. He's taking some serious flak, down to 15 points of health. But it only needs a headshot on to Peter. Dancing around the truck, Hate made his way out to die. Doesn't matter. Peter, insta headshot comes through. 3 on the round, and it's a 9-7 lead. What a chaotic pistol we just got there.
Chaos is indeed, I think, the best way to describe that. I think also BOOZOOMERS would have waited a couple of seconds longer to allow Hate to really instill that backstab before they completely go for that hit. Then it's a completely different end, and I think BOOZOOMERS take it. They just decided to rush it a little bit too quickly, and they got punished. They're going to go for a 4-spy here, though. Double Mac 10s, double Tech 9s, and a Deeg in the hands of Flam. And Gaston's not really in the position to defend this all too well. A couple MP9s, 3 to be exact, and 2 FAMASs. It's not the kind of buy that you would necessarily expect against full armored pistols, and that's exactly why. Tech 9s are dastardly.
Junior's getting overrun. Junior's getting overrun.
Just got 2.
They don't check. They don't check behind him. Bungie can do the damage. MP9's beginning to churn up, warm up now. Junior will finally finish off Mista. What started off very nicely and clean for BOOZOOMERS has come to a grinding halt. 2v4. They'll try and shift away, but at the end of the day, 1 is all they get. Some good damage, but that's at least on players, but no kills materialize. And in the long term, gas money really unaffected. 10-7 is what they're working with.
This is now where BOOZOOMERS have almost lost the map at this point. Unless they can make the Deagles work or they can go on a big streak in the guns, that was the opportunity for them to keep this one close and keep within pace.
Yeah.
Now they've allowed Gas Money to really get out in front, and this is Gas Money's map to lose now. It was a back and forth one at the beginning, but with that round, it really does just heavily favor Gas Money at this point. And with
Yeah,
that
double ops are coming as well. Keep that in mind as this round is. Well, let's see if there's any extra damage they can do to try and limit that possibility. But Junior's getting an op no matter what happens. Peter, I mean, if he holds, he could easily get just dropped one over by B-Wills if he keeps holding onto his guns, and I think that's going to be exactly the case here. Yeah, and we haven't yet to even see the double op setup. I mean, whether it's hot or cold, okay, well, I'm leaning on the more of the side that it's going to come out swinging. That is the scariest of prospects. I feel like we're going to have to see some very careful Counter-Strike from the BOOZOOMERS to try and counter the monstrous individuals that are going to be wielding the snipers in these upcoming rounds.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll get a double op set up right out of the gate here for Gas Money. I think they'll go for more of a bonus round here, give Junior the op, and then play around with the rifles for everybody else. But for the most part, I don't see Gas Money losing this map anymore. I don't see them relinquishing more than 2 more rounds in this entire half as a whole. They look very composed now. They look like they've actually found themselves again. I was worried for them. I was significantly worried. I was not sure if they would be able to get back into their form after that first map, but they really have. They have come together. They have found their life. They have found their stride. And a big part of that has been Junior in this map. He's been very, very good, but my mind goes back to that Pete 1v2 with the op. Without that, BOOZOOMERS run away with this map. Guaranteed.
Yep. I feel like we've seen that before as well. There's been clutches that have turned maps on his head. I believe yesterday there was, I believe, can't remember. Wow. My memory is, I do have a goldfish brain at some time, but clutches seem to turn maps on its head every single step of the way. I mean, we saw the 1v2 from earlier on Inferno from Junior, that if they lost that scoreline would have been much more brutal in the favor of BOOZOOMERS. Like, that would have been probably just ending the half, maybe 10 rounds. That was a sick 1v2 from Junior is what stopped the bleeding for the most part, but it didn't get them the map at the end of the day. So at the moment, it's really, is there going to be a play from the BOOZOOMERS that can stop the bleeding here? Or, well, where is it going to come from at the moment? This is going to be the first gun round for the BOOZOOMERS. This is the juncture of the game where we say, yeah, they have a chance, or no, they don't.
I'm going to go with the no, they don't.
I want to see the result of this round first. I want to wait. Of course, we're in a little bit of a pause at the moment, so we do have to wait for that. But I mean, these pauses can and it's true. People theorize and all this, but it is true. These pauses do ice out teams, and you do lose the momentum and the comms you were going with during these long pauses. So, if this could be some time used for BOOZOOMERS to regroup.
I will say, though, in these long pauses, it always has gone the way of Gas Money right afterwards, so far today. So I'm expecting them to come out of this one a lot stronger. And I think that for Gas Money, too, there's a lot more of a... I mean, on BOOZOOMERS, is going to be a loose vibe. I think Gas Money's literally just vibing out right now. Because you can see a lot in a lot of their play. It is very loosey-goosey. It's very, hey man, I'm going to go try and take this fight here because I'm feeling it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It doesn't seem like they're getting held up on too much. It's not a very disciplined style, and it's definitely fun to play like that, especially when you're feeling it. And they're starting to feel that individual confidence coming through, which is going to make things a lot more difficult for BOOZOOMERS. But the reason why I say I don't think BOOZOOMERS can win this map is just because of how well Gas Money has been doing on the CT side, and how well Junior's been playing in particular. That op is going to be almost impossible to get by. And I'm looking back towards yesterday as well.